Would you like the ability to create mnemonic examples very, very quickly in your own mind so you can stop going around the internet searching for mnemonic examples of mathematical formulas or medical terminology or whatever the heck it is that people are hunting around for with these mnemonics dictionaries, when you could just become your own mnemonic dictionary? But a lot of people, they ask me, they say, how do I get faster at creating these images, and how do I get creative enough? And the reality is, it's actually very, very simple, and the secrets are coming right up. Hey there, this is Anthony Metivier from MagneticMemoryMethod.com, where we help mature learners unlock the full powers of their imagination so they can create mnemonic examples very, very quickly and have them work, have them last, so that they actually can recall the information that they encoded using the magnetic imagery. And so if you're new here, get started now by hitting subscribe, hit that little bell icon if you want to be notified, and join us on some of our live streams where dozens of people get together to enjoy the memory tradition that goes back thousands of years. The real deal. The stuff that people used back in the ancient days to memorize entire books and speeches and, well, combine ars memorativa with ars combinatoria for real knowledge that lasts and improves your life so you can improve the lives of others and survive at that highest pinnacle of existence, the existence that makes you the best possible you that you can be, which is the person who thinks quick and who is able to just make stuff up off the top of your head, kind of like I'm doing right now. Well, I do it because I take things one sip at a time, which is to study creativity, to implement the ideas in creativity studies, and then practice creativity in ways that help improve my life and the lives of others and make a perfect circle. So how does it work? Well, one of the first things to understand is that you're already creative. You're so creative right now. If you could just realize that you can't even have an experience of reality without the chemical bath in your head being creative. You know, like this is just one of the big problems that people have. They just simply don't understand the creative process that is this moment. Right? And the more that you can get into it, the more that you can just taste it and love it and absorb it and just be immersed in it, the more you're going to be able to tap into that raw power of creativity that's happening all the time. Now that might sound abstract, it might sound woo-woo and new agey and guru and blah, 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 but anybody knows me knows that I despise the woo-woo world, and I absolutely, well, I despise it with love, of course, tough love. But, you know, like it is a concern and a caution that you're very well to have. But the reality is that it's all grounded in the best of the best neuroscience, that you have a chemical bath in your head. It is perceiving light and sound that's coming into your eyes and your ears, and it's translating it into the experience you're having right now. And the strength and the quality and the integrity and the usefulness of that experience has a lot to do with how you're perceiving it actively and then enjoying it, not being stressed out, and not, you know, creating negative pictures in your head that make life suffering, and rather working with your existing levels of competence in order to craft a path forward into the great unknown that you actually enjoy and can actually accomplish through the creation of proper goals. And proper goals are not only goals that are smart in that Wikipedia sense of what you can look up with smart goals if you want, which is, you know, one way of thinking about it, and you should, but there's another way of thinking about it, which is just to train yourself based on a excavation of the wonderful mental content that you have right now in your brain, in terms of spatial memory, all the buildings you've ever been in, all the art galleries, all the movies you've ever seen, and you can just constantly go back to the well and re-familiarize yourself with what is already familiar, because your brain is filled with beautiful, glorious, wonderful imagery, and if you just rub it the right way, like a balloon, it'll stick to the wall like magnetic imagery in a memory palace. So you've got to really understand your existing mental content, right? In order to get the art of memory, the craft of memory, the science of memory working for you, and to be able to combine it with other images so that you can create these strings of mnemonic examples that enable you to call back volumes of information and not do it so much one thing at a time, even though you always will, because that's just the way it is, right? Time unfolds linearly, and you have one piece of information which you weave together with one magnetic station in a memory palace, and then the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. But you get to also escape that linear pattern through recall rehearsal, and then through the rhizomatic effect of making connections in your mind, in the unconscious part of your mind. And this just is something that happens through practice. But it begins with recognizing that you are already creative, and you have all the creative resources you will ever need. You have them right now, because you are where you are. And if you can just tap into it and then have a goal, have a smart one that you can actually achieve based on your existing competence, then you will, actually have a chance to move into that great unknown with great bliss. Now, the second thing is to understand that creative activities are much easier to engage in if you warm up with creative exercise. So think about going to the gym, right? You just want to be a bit loose and limp before you hit the heavy duty stuff, right? Now, there's some arguments that, stretching before you exercise is not that great and so forth, but generally just loosening up a little bit before you hit the bricks and you really test your muscles is a great strategy, so that you're able to get the fullest possible benefits of the workout. And it's the same thing with creativity. So in the creativity literature and research, we know that if you have a large creative task, people perform better if they do a small creative task first to warm themselves up. So what might this look like? Well, in memory, I found this research and I wanted to test it and see. And so I realized that, you can hit the ground running with some language learning memorization. Let's say you got 10 words in Spanish or French or Chinese or whatever the case may be, and you're going to memorize them in a memory palace. You got your memory palace ready, it's got its 10 magnetic stations and so on, you're ready to go. Well, instead of diving in and creating the magnetic imagery that you're going to need for that, you can start with memorizing something else, something either simpler or even a little bit more challenging depending where you're at. So in my case, something that's relatively easy and fun for me is memorizing cards. So memorize about a quarter of a deck, usually 13 cards, and then hit the vocabulary or the phrases. And then, to cool down, either recall those 13 cards that were encoded or memorize another 13 cards. Just, vary it, do different things. And the beauty of all this is that you warm up, and then when you hit the actual material that you need to encode, well, you just hit it, you hit the ground running because you're warmed up. So that's a very important principle. And then the third point really is just to show up and practice consistently, right? So we always say that this is something that you need to do with the DOC principle, because doing is the origin of consistency. So you got to get started, and then doing is the origin of the creativity that you need while you're being consistent. It's also the origin of clarity about these techniques, because so much of this is never understood if you don't actually get on the adventure. If you're not moving, you're never going to actually learn the techniques, because they are learned by doing. So doing is the origin of confidence, it's the origin of consistency, it's the origin of competence, it's ultimately the origin of all the creativity that you need. But if you're not doing, you're going to be like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. You're just going to be sitting there waiting for the Scarecrow and Dorothy to come along, and you'll be like, oh, give me some oil, and then you get a little bit of oil, which is me. I'm giving you the oil right now, and then the next thing you know, you're dancing and you're hopping, and the wizard gives you a heart. You earned the heart though, right? And it's because you took action. It's because you put the DOC into work for you in your life. And so to do that, you just got to take it one sip at a time, right? It's not a big deal. You just take it one sip at a time, which means you study the memory techniques, you implement the techniques, and then you practice those techniques with the information that's going to improve your life. That's how you get more creative. That's how you create fast speed and volume of information in your mind, by creating mnemonic examples yourself, understanding these principles, and putting them to work in your life with information that improves your life. And then ideally, you put that information into the world by helping others, and then you create a perfect circle. All right, so I got a jet. Hope that helped you out. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I was just putting the final touches on the end of the draft of part 1 of my new book about bringing memory and meditation techniques together, which will also help you use these techniques better, because meditation is another thing that will make you a little bit more creative, I believe, because you'll be more relaxed and you won't overthink stuff so much, and you'll just be like a duck sailing into the water and doing duck-like things without a care for the world. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're subscribed over at magneticmemorymethod.com/YT, where you get a free course with 3 PDFs, 4 videos that walk you through everything in terms of creating well-formed memory palaces and creating well-formed magnetic imagery, so you can use these techniques very, very quickly and in ways that are easy, effective, elegant, and fun. And then of course you'll be notified when this new book comes out, so you can gobble it down and have the benefits of bringing meditation and memory techniques together. And so I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching this video. Get subscribed to this channel if you aren't already. Hit thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think, and see you over at magneticmemorymethod.com. Take care, and until we have a chance to speak again, keep yourself magnetic.